Good morning, welcome to another episode of Heart Jar Moments. I'm Gina D, the founder of Healing Heart TV, and this is the series where I pull little pieces of paper out of this jar where I've written down notes that will be the subject of our video for today. And these videos are meant to inspire you, to plant a seed in you, or just to remind you of something you already know that will keep you in touch with your soul's joyful purpose in life. All right, so as you can see, I'm back outside. The last couple episodes I was inside the house because I was spending the holidays in Cleveland, Ohio with my family, and it was about 5 degrees outside, so I couldn't be outside. And I love presenting these outside. I love being in nature. I love doing them in the morning when the sun's coming up. So I'm actually on my way back home to California, back home to Paso Robles and my beautiful ranch that I love living on. And I'm on the road. We're taking a road trip, and I'm in Oklahoma City, so I'm in the middle of the country, standing in a field behind the hotel because I had to be outside and bring this to you so I could have the energy that I like to have when I present to you. So today, what I pulled out of the jar was, anticipation is far worse than the act of doing what you don't want to do if you don't set yourself up properly. And my personal note was moving out of 2 homes that I loved. So as I said in a previous episode, I'm actually in the 3rd long-term relationship of my life, and it is a great relationship. I really did a lot of self-work before I got involved in this full relationship, and my wife did the same. So we came to the relationship as 2 whole beings who are committed to living our soul's joyful purpose first, and then we come together and we can co-create a wonderful, wonderful relationship and experiences in our life. Now, my previous 2 relationships were both unique and beautiful, and they were both long-term relationships. The first one was an 11-year marriage. The second was a 12-year committed relationship, and we owned homes together. We both, had invested our money and our time and our efforts into purchasing these homes. And I was the one to actually leave the house in both cases. And that's due to, finances and other things. But I loved those homes. I really, really did. And each one of my previous partners stayed in the home. So, that was really, really hard. It was really hard in both cases to first admit that the relationship needed to shift and change and not go on the way it was, and then that I had to actually physically leave my environment that I loved, that I felt comfortable in, that was my home. So the anticipation, the time leading up to the actual moving day in both cases was so hard and so scary, and I couldn't even imagine, living in an apartment or wherever I was going, especially after, 11 years in each place, 11, 12 years. But I could tell you that the day I actually made the move, once I started taking the first boxes out and moving them, as strange as as that felt, it wasn't as bad as I anticipated it to be. Because before it happened, I was like, oh my God, how do I do this? How do I have the strength? How do I have the courage? How do I do this without completely falling apart crying? Well, I did all the crying before, and I was falling apart, and I was building this whole scenario in my mind, like how terrible it was going to be. But then when it came to do it, it wasn't nearly as bad as what I was imagining. So I was creating this scenario in my brain that just was bringing up emotion in me that wasn't serving me and wasn't helping me to make the move in a more comforting way. Fortunately, I'm kind of the person who's adaptable, and I do really well with being stimulated with new environment, and I look for the good and the excitement and the joy in it. And when I got to those places, I was looking at, okay, what's good about this? What can I find? I'm going to create a new life. This is a great opportunity. I have a clean slate. I can create something new. So it worked out, that I was able to do that. But what I realize now, the more I've learned, and in retrospect, they say learning often comes from reflection. It's not just in the act of doing, but it's afterwards, right? We reflect back on things in our life and we learn our lessons. So what I realized was I was really afraid of the unknown prior to actually doing the act of moving. I was afraid of just being uncomfortable or not knowing where I was going to go grocery shopping, or just the simple things, or how was I going to feel being by myself. So it was fear of the unknown, because I was so addicted to the known, even though it was uncomfortable, even though the relationship wasn't healthy, even though it was the right thing to do, to move out of the home, even though it was going to be the thing that was going to ultimately bring me joy. I was just afraid, but my body physically was addicted to the chemistry of living my life the way I was living it, which was uncomfortable, unhealthy relationships. And that's just the truth. I mean, it's a chemical, emotional addiction that our body has. How many, you've probably seen friends, if it's not happening to you right now, if it hasn't happened to you, you probably have some friends and you can see so clearly, like, why do they keep staying in this relationship? Or why do they keep staying in this job that they're miserable in and isn't serving them? It's not because they intellectually want to stay miserable. It's because chemically, that's what's happened with their body. Their brain sends a signal to release a certain hormone. They've had this experience, so this chemistry gets released. The body feels the cortisol and the adrenaline rushing, whatever it is, whatever the negative energy is that's being released in their body. They're addicted to it. It's no different than a drug addiction, an alcohol addiction, a gambling addiction, any addiction. We're addicted to emotions. So until we can actually push ourselves past that and intellectually tell ourselves, okay, and understand how our body works, and go, I'm going to do this anyway, knowing that I'm going to feel uncomfortable, that's part of breaking out of an addiction, breaking out of a bad relationship, breaking out of a bad job, all these things. It's going to be uncomfortable. So you just got to get with that and be okay with that, and just know that's part of the process. It's really part of the process. So you got to get comfortable with the unknown. Know that just because physically you're not feeling like you should, it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do, to stay back, to hold back, to pull back, so you can just stay comfortable in your body. That's not where growth is. That's not where evolution is. We wouldn't have evolved as human beings if we didn't push past discomfort sometimes. And I wouldn't be standing out here talking to you if I didn't push back against the discomfort and do it anyway. You know, they say, fear is, there's different acronyms, you know, feeling excited and ready, or false evidence appearing real. It's just something we have to consciously be aware of, that just because something doesn't feel right, if we know and we've got people around us who are supporting us in the healthier way to go, then we should really listen to that. So anyway, I want to plant that seed in you. I want to encourage you to push past your discomfort. If there's something in your life you really want, and it doesn't even have to be a bad situation or a bad job or a bad relationship. What if you're in a good relationship and you want to expand it even further? You know, what if you guys as a couple decide you want to travel more? What if you want to start a business together? What if you want to go down a spiritual path together? You're going to have to break some habits. You're going to have to get past some discomfort and head towards the direction of your dreams. So I hope this inspired you. I hope it motivates you. I hope it triggers something in you that maybe you already know and you just needed a little reminder. And if you know somebody that may benefit from it, please share the video with them. And like the video, comment, please comment. I love the comments. That's how we have interaction and community, and we could share information together. So I just encourage you to do that, and I would love for you to go out today and live your soul's joyful purpose, and don't be afraid. All right, we'll see you on the next stop of this road trip.